Good morning from Aina Bear Farm here on the Big Island of Hawaii. We want to do a video today to kind of demonstrate how we're slowly turning this roughly 3 acres of pasture into food forest, one piece at a time. And so where we're standing right now is kind of like our main entrance. There are a few entrances because it's a big chunk of land. But this was really close to the house, so we wanted to make kind of a very nice looking, accessible, welcoming, inviting kind of opening to the food forest, and also put some things up here that would be a little bit more zone 1, like things that we want to have access to pretty quickly and pretty readily. And that differs from person to person. For some people, the things that I've chosen to be zone 1 might not be zone 1 for you. More technically, probably zone 2. These are not like herbs or veggies or anything, but fruits and things that we want to get on a regular basis, or we just like having them really close by because we like to see them, look out. So what we've done is this pasture is covered in what they call guinea grass, which gets up to about here and then goes to seed. Maybe sometimes can get even higher. It grows really fast. The entire pasture is full of it. There's very little else out here. And then as you kind of look down, you can see the consistency of the soil here. Very different from what I had back in Maryland. This is a volcanic soil that has unbelievably good drainage. You water something and within seconds it just goes right through the soil. It almost kind of operates like sand in terms of drainage. But it does hold a little bit more organic material. I've found a few worms as I've been digging out here, so we are seeing some signs of soil life. We have had cows out here in the pasture, so we know that there's some decent nitrogen and some other trace minerals that should be out here. So far, I'm really having a good time, and I'm happy with how it's going. It's not too bad ripping this guinea grass out, but what we're doing is finding a contour path. And so this entrance right here was a contour that kind of swerves around and snakes its way through. We had a lovely neighbor that was nice enough to donate us some red tea leaf. So we have planted a few of these along the path to kind of mark where the path goes. And they also multiply, and we can divide and continue to expand, you know, our number of red tea leaf plants. So I'm thinking maybe this could be like the red tea leaf path, because we'll have multiple paths running through here. And that'll help me keep track of which trees are where, and just kind of keep the path marked, because eventually this will all sort of start to fill in and grow in with different weeds and maybe more grass and things like that. And as far as maintenance, as the canopy grows, the maintenance will go down. Obviously, we'll get more shade, more of a dense understory. That's, you know, that things like the guinea grass aren't as competitive as they are now. But we'll probably have to come through here every once in a while with a scythe or a weed whacker or something like that. I'm not 100% sure about the width of the path yet, because if I do want to use a scythe, I mean, there's no room to come through here with something like that. So I may in time expand it a little bit wider, maybe in certain parts, narrow and wide, we'll see. But it does have a mild berm on the downslope side. And the soil again has really good drainage, but that's just to help catch any excess water from going downhill, especially in big rain events, hurricanes, tropical storms, things like that, to just slow things down so that we don't have stuff washing down the hill, especially now that I'm pulling out the grass, which is an amazing erosion controlling agent. So without the grass, I want to be extra careful that I have things in place to stop things from sliding down the hillside. And I'm also going to be lining the path with wood. That's kind of a tip I picked up from Jeff Lawton and what they do at Zaytuna Farms. As we grow some of our fast-growing nitrogen-fixing plants, our leguminous stuff, which here would be like Leucaena, Albizia, pigeon pea, some stuff like that. But the ones that have woodier parts, like the Albizia and stuff, we can cut them down and we can line the edges of our path with wood. Those will break down over time, especially during the wetter seasons, and we'll get fungus in there, and we'll be converting this to a fungal environment, because that's what we really need to be paying attention to. because now grassland, very bacteria heavy, and we want to convert that to a fungus forest environment. And so one of the best ways to do that is to have the woody material slowly breaking down that the fungus can feed on. So you can see behind me, I've cleared a bunch of guinea grass in this area, and this is kind of how we're doing it. We'll make a space, and then we'll have like an anchor tree, or what I always refer to as an anchor tree. So here, get out of the sun, is a Satsuma tangerine. And so this is a family favorite, which is why, again, it's like zone 2, right up front. It's a beautiful citrus tree. It looks like it has Christmas ornaments hanging off of it when you have the bright orange tangerines ripe and ready to pick. And it's something that we just absolutely love. It's been a dream of ours for many years to have a yard for the Satsuma. So this is front and center. And we really just wanted to make it kind of like one of the first things you see when you walk into the food forest. And so I've cleared the guinea grass around here, uprooted it, and then laid it back down as mulch so that now it's helping to keep the ground from drying out, keep it nice and moist under here. And then I have built a slight kind of horseshoe berm around the tree itself. It's downslope from the path berm. So, in a lot of environments, that berm would collect a lot of water and that would seep into the groundwater and would rise. And then any plants on this side could reach down their roots in there. And that may be the case, but again, I think with how much this soil drains, water might be going like pretty far down. And so we wanted a little bit of an extra berm here to just kind of help soak up a little bit more water. And over time, we'll just keep piling up organic material for these trees to feed on. I'm not 100% sure yet how I want to deal with organic fertilizer for these fruit trees. If you have suggestions, please put it in the comments section. There's just a lot of options, and I definitely want to try to get something that is more or less sustainable, not crazy expensive, and something I can replicate over and over and over again. We're definitely trying to grow a lot of our fertilizers here, and we compost and we do all that stuff, but we may need a little bit extra to get them going in the over the next year or two. After that, everything will be fine. We'll also be setting in some leukina around here, our nitrogen fixers, maybe some pigeon pea. And then as we acquire some other flowering plants and things like that, we'll kind of gild this area out to support the Satsuma. So this is a little pocket we've dug out, and we'll kind of go down the path and look at another one that we've dug out. As we continue down this way, you can see the red tea leaf marking the way. And we've got another smaller section, but similar idea, dug out here around this tree, which is jabuticaba or jaboticaba, the Brazilian tree grape, which is just like one of the coolest plants that, one of my kind of new favorite cool plants, because it grows the fruit right off of the bark, but it takes a long time to fruit. And so that's one reason we wanted to get one and get it into the ground like first week we were here, because we may be looking at 9 or 10 years before we see flowers and fruit on this one. And so yeah, I just really wanted to get it going. But same idea, we've cleared it out, built a little mini berm behind the berm. And then I want to show you guys how we're clearing the path. And so we'll get to the end of the path here. I'll bust out my homemade A-frame tool. So let me show this really quick. You've probably seen other examples of this or videos on YouTube. I just went, how do I make an A-frame level? There are a lot of great videos that popped up on YouTube. I made this with almost all scrap wood that was just laying around out here. I found a big, heavy bolt and nut for my plumb bob. And essentially, when you make this and you make sure it's laying on flat ground and you have a water level on top here, you can see when it's flat, and you can mark a little space in the middle that shows you where this will be hanging when it's on flat ground. So as I go uphill to berm, I'm pretty close to flat there. And so what we do is we put it on our path as we kind of get towards the end, and try to make it so you guys can see this. I put one end right in the dead center of where the path is, and the path just now started to kind of turn to go up, and then I move this until my plumb bob sits close to the middle. And you have to kind of try to make sure that things aren't interfering with the way that it moves, like the vegetation around. And it doesn't have to be like completely perfect exact. You just want to be pretty close to contour. And once I get to that spot, you can mark it off with landscape flag. You can put a rock down, something to help you kind of get an idea of where you're going next. And so, I'll just grab this rock for right now, put it right where my A-frame ends, and I'll set the A-frame to the side. Then we'll grab our tool for the day, our mattock pickaxe guy here. Now, I gotta find the rock. Okay, I see it. So then I get kind of like a visual idea of where the path needs to go next. And luckily for this next section to cut, I don't have any like really huge chunks like this big chunk here. But what I want to do really quickly is just kind of show you how this stuff really isn't as bad as it looks. So I just kind of step down on it. You got to be a little careful because it has these sharp barbs come off the stalks. Be better in pants. My pants are in a shipping container somewhere. And then we just go underneath and pry it up. You get like one little chunk at a time. Shake off the dirt. And then this is new mulch you can lay down over your berm. And so we just go a little bit at a time. I have a few general ideas. If you watched our full farm tour video, it was the first video we made here at our new farm. We showed a central area that's out there in the pasture, and we planted a mango tree out there. And that was one of the first things we put in as well, because we love mangoes and it's a little difficult to grow them successfully around here. So we wanted to put it in, what we thought was the perfect spot. And so really right now my goal is to get this path to that middle section, and then uphill from where I am, it'll open up all kinds of possibilities for other trees to be planted in, and then I can find another path a little further up the hillside. And that's the plan for now. We're just gonna kind of go patiently, one piece at a time. I can seem to clear about one path section and one section like this in a day, in a few hours, and then the hot tropical sun kicks in and I gotta go sit in the shade for a while. But a little bit at a time, we'll be snaking our way through here, and over time we'll be doing some update videos, and we'll see this canopy grow and just see this entire space transform. It's going to be really cool. So follow along with us. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. Share anything in the comments if you've got anything interesting to share. And we'll see you back here next time at Ina Bear Farm. Thanks a lot.